United States Senator Elizabeth Warren visited Springfield Technical Community College earlier today. Originally elected in 2012, Warren is the first woman senator from Massachusetts, but her outspoken nature has garnered national attention, positive or negative, depending on your politics. Warren sat down with me to discuss a wide range of issues. I started by asking the senator about the banking bill currently being debated in the Senate, which she opposes.
There are a lot of vulnerable folks who are going to be hit by this bill. One of them is students, that it's not protecting students who have student loans. And so I've got amendments on that, and I'm going to be pushing for it. But let me mention a couple of others. We've had a real problem with banks discriminating against African Americans, against Latinos, against women. And
in terms of getting access to loans, rates?
Yes. Access to loans, charging one rate for African Americans, a different rate for white people. And this is terrible. And the latest research shows that this has happened in at least 61 cities around the country. Now, the only way we know that is because of data that the banks are forced by law to report. One of the things that's in this bill says about 85% of banks won't have to report at all. There will be whole communities where there will be no reporting done. And that means no oversight of banks that in the past have discriminated and banks that may be discriminating now. A third one is that when the crash came in 2008 and we put the new regulations in place afterwards, we said, hey, no more cheating people on home mortgages. You know, the teaser rates, the tricks, the traps. And we said that's true whether you have a bricks and mortar house, whether you have a condo, or whether you live in a trailer park, you have a manufactured housing. What this bill says is, we'll keep the rule the same for bricks and mortar houses, and we'll keep it the same for condos, but we're just going to say on manufactured housing, it's okay if you cheat those people. That's just wrong.
So in an editorial this week, the Berkshire Eagle called on you to take a DNA test to put your Native American heritage to rest. I want to quote something they said. Quote, "So we call upon our senior senator to screw up her courage and take the spit test. If she already has but is keeping the results under wraps, we urge her to be forthcoming with them." Will you take a DNA test?
Look, I think this was fully litigated in 2012 here in Massachusetts. I think Scott Brown raised this issue every single day during the campaign.
It keeps coming up for you.
Well, the way I see it, at the end of the day, what the people of Massachusetts said is they cared a whole lot more about their families than they did about my background. My brothers and I, we grew up in Oklahoma. We know our story from our mom and our dad and our grandmothers and our grandfather and from our aunts.
And that's sufficient for you, the story?
It's been just fine for my brothers and me.
And so the answer there is a no.
Look, it's that I'm down in Washington every day fighting for the families of Massachusetts. That is my job. This banking bill that we were just talking about, where people are getting cheated. And the whole idea is that these giant banks have come in with their great hordes of lobbyists and all of their contributions and all of their bought and paid for experts to try to ram through Congress a bill that helps Wall Street, helps the cheaters, and takes it out on American families. I am in that fight 24 hours a day. I think that's where I need to stay focused.
Let's talk about another bill, the Marshall Plan, Senator Sanders' bill, but you've been in favor of it. What's the likelihood you think that bill will be passed and bring some relief to the island of Puerto Rico? Here we are, Hurricane Maria has 30% of the island is still without electricity.
And this is just absolutely infuriating. So the Republicans right now will not even let us have a vote on the bill. Let me put two other pieces on the table. I also believe, in addition to what I think of as the Marshall Plan for Puerto Rico, we also need to deal with the debt overhang in Puerto Rico. Long before.
And that's folded into this, right?
No, it's separate. It's separate. This is the bill I'm doing that's separate. Okay. It's in addition. So it's both and that we need. And the importance of this one was there even before the hurricanes hit. So we've got to get Puerto Rico's economy back in a good footing, as well as its basic infrastructure up and operational. And it's going to take making the right investments, and dealing with the debt overhang. What I've been trying to do, since the Republicans won't give us votes on these, is to stay after our agencies. So just this past week, I sent another round of letters trying to push our government officials on making sure that the infrastructure, the electric power infrastructure, is better supported and that they're getting it out to everyone who needs it. You know, part of what worries me is even in places where they've reestablished power, the power's not reliable. So it's coming on, it's going off. So we've just got to keep working on this. What worries me the most is that Puerto Rico is falling out of the headlines, and that out of sight is out of mind. So I keep trying to lift this up. I gave a speech just this week on Puerto Rico.
Lots of people here, and there are lots of evacuees who've come to Massachusetts,
yes.
So it's certainly on the table here. Quick question about FEMA. Sure. FEMA has been looking at homes in Puerto Rico and considered many of them habitable, but there's a big question among the evacuee population here about how habitable is being defined. Do you have any sense of that?
Yes, and in fact, I've been pushing back on FEMA.
Because they're saying, you know, you can return to your house that doesn't have a roof and has been rained on consistently.
Doesn't have a roof, doesn't have a secure door, doesn't have windows that don't leak, may not have a reliable power source, may not have clean water to it. So I have pushed, along with others in the Senate, trying to get FEMA to back off, and so far FEMA has not yet come out with a definitive statement about what they're going to do on this. And boy, we're going to be in there pushing on them.
Lots of questions still around that issue.
Yes.
Governor Deval Patrick, former Governor Deval Patrick of Massachusetts, sort of hinted this week that he's looking at a 2020 run. Who would make a better president, you or former Governor Patrick?
Look, I think Deval Patrick is just terrific. He's a man who has good heart and who's out there doing the best he could as governor for the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I have enormous respect for our former governor. Right now, the race is 2018. We've got our races coming up. I'm taking nothing for granted in Massachusetts. I've been crisscrossing the state, meeting with people everywhere, and I think that's exactly how we have to look at this. 2018 is frankly our chance on the Democratic side to get back the House or the Senate, or both the House and the Senate, and put some constraints on Donald Trump's ability to just wreck this country.
To your point that you're staying focused here on 2018, your contenders have said that you know, there's concern because you gave money to the DNC this week and to many all of the state actually parties across the country, and some political insiders look at that as you seeding the field for a possible 2020 run. These contenders then can turn around and say, she's focused on 2020, she's not focused on 2018. Is the money an indication that you don't see these 2018 challengers as serious contenders?
No, it's about the 2018 elections, what I was just talking about. I understand that the only way Democrats are going to have a chance to be able to take back the House, to take back the Senate, to take governorships, to take state legislatures, is if they can help build the infrastructure. And I realize that there are many, many Democratic state parties that are stretched for funds. And so I said, I've been out there, I've been working to try to collect funds, and I'm going to help spend those funds to help get people registered to vote and to help build the infrastructure. So there's a way to use the volunteers, there's a way to harness the energy of those who really want to have their voices heard during this 2018 election season.
Final question. Sure. What's the biggest challenge you think Massachusetts is facing right now?
I think the hardest challenge that we're facing in Massachusetts is building an economy that works for everyone. You know, this economy in Massachusetts has done well because we have invested in education, we've invested in infrastructure, we've invested in basic research. Those are the things I work on down in Washington. But still, it's an economy that works better and better for those at the top and less for everyone else. I feel so blessed in my life that, you know, I'm the daughter of a man who ended up as a janitor. My mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. I got my shot to be a public school teacher. because of a commuter college that cost $50 a semester.
The average cost of a state education now $24,000 a year in Massachusetts.
That opportunity is just not there today for young people. And so what I want to see Massachusetts do is exactly what I want to see America do. And that is invest in opportunities. So all of our kids, any kid who's willing to work hard, any kid who's willing to get out there and do it, will actually have a chance to get an education without getting crushed by student loan debt. I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen. That young people today get the same kind of opportunities that were granted to my generation. In fact, I want to see them get better opportunities.